You are listening to the Intelligent Vocalist Podcast, episode 124.
Welcome to the Intelligent Vocalist with John Henny. This is the podcast dedicated to help you be a smarter, better, more informed singer. And now, your host for the Intelligent Vocalist, John Henny.
Hey there, this is John Henny. Welcome back to another episode of The Intelligent Vocalist. I do so appreciate you spending your precious listening time with me. All right, it is October, starting to feel kind of like fall, although that never really happens here in Los Angeles. It takes a little while. October can still be quite warm, but little hints of it here and there, cooler evenings. It's always a nice time of year. Getting into that period where there is much festivities and also demands on our time. And it's a time of year where singing can often take a back seat. Very often our schedules get thrown in these holiday periods. And while it is important to take a break and to spend time with family, you don't want to let the habit of continuous vocal improvement get away from you. It doesn't take too long until something's not a habit anymore. And with that in mind, I wanted to talk about rapid vocal improvement, or basically rapid vocal improvement in your voice. Rapid is different for everybody, and also depending on your goals, etc. But just so that you are making really good progress and really making use of your precious time. That clock is always ticking, and it's always ticking down. So don't leave things until tomorrow. Get started today. If you don't have a vocal regimen of continuous improvement, I urge you, this is the day to get started. Just do it, and you will start to improve by leaps and bounds. Now, my best tips for rapid improvement, well, the first one's a rather obvious one, especially since I'm a voice teacher, but you really should be committed to weekly lessons. And it's not just the lesson itself, but it is a date, a regular date on your calendar that you have to prepare for. And knowing that that lesson is coming, and knowing that you have assignments, and you don't want to be the student that spends the first 5 minutes of your lesson with all the excuses of why you didn't practice, this is going to keep you on the straight and narrow. This is going to keep you focused. This is going to make you practice on those days where you don't feel like it. It's going to force you to set aside that time in your schedule to work on your voice. It's almost like, what are they called? Those responsibility coaches, where they just stay on top of you and you have to contact them and let them know that you've done these tasks. Your weekly lesson is going to serve the same function. And even better if it's a really good teacher you're with, because you will make faster improvement with a good teacher than you will on your own. That's not to say you can't learn to sing on your own. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to do. And a great teacher is a fantastic shortcut. It's going to get you to your singing goals that much faster, and it's going to eliminate the wasted time of trying things the wrong way and getting bad technique and bad habits into your voice that you do not want. The other thing is your daily practice session. Make that an appointment on the calendar. I keep a journal, and I have specific things that I do every day. And then I check those off. And one of the things I do, I've talked about it before, it's called a Pomodoro, and it's just a timing technique for productivity. You essentially take a timer, you set it for 25 minutes, and for those 25 minutes, you do nothing but work. You do nothing but practice. You don't check your phone. In fact, your phone should not be in the room. If it is, it should only be there for you to look up lyrics or to record yourself and hear it back. Otherwise, the phone should be out of the room. At the very least, all the notifications turned off. And for these 25 minutes, you do nothing but work on your voice. Then you take a 5-minute break, and then you can do another 25 minutes. Although I will tell you, if you can just do 25 minutes of uninterrupted, focused practice, that's a lot. That's going to take you quite a ways. You can do that 6 days a week if you can. I'm sure you can find a half hour a day. And you basically have 3 hours at the end of the week that you've truly focused on your voice. So just get that habit. After you do it for a little while, after you've done it for a couple of weeks, that is going to be a habit, and you're going to actually be stressed if you miss a practice day. So you can get that consistency going. And then in the practice session itself, just don't start singing. Have specific goals that you are going to be working on. What you can do is just spend the first few minutes warming up. Just some scales, some of those semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, which is a fancy way for partially blocked, whether it's singing through the straw or phonating through the straw. Those lip bubbles, you can do them on tongue trills, Z sounds, TH, they just provide some extra resistance for the vocal folds to help them warm up. Then you can have different objectives for that day. A key one is just registration, of just going through the range of your voice and making sure that your registers are balancing out as you leave the lower register or chest voice and you go into that middle voice, that there's not a sudden change in vocal quality, that you're not straining or breaking, and you're able to blend that up into your upper register and back down again. Registration is something we need to work on constantly. The rest of our singing lives, it's really a fine-tuned balance that we always need to be on top of. Range is always a good one, and you always want to, a few times a week, really push your range. Not push in terms of strain, but just really touch those upper notes and just stretch out the voice, see how high it can go. And then working on that balance through sustains. Sustains are wonderful ways of getting that cemented. So going into that middle voice. So in the male voice, if you're just sitting on F sharps, the F sharp 4, which is the F sharp above middle C, sitting sustains on that F sharp, those Gs. For female singers, the B flat above that, the B, holding those sustains, getting your vibrato going, tuning vowels, practicing on vowel adjustments, all the different shades and colors of each particular vowel. Agility, just working speed, quicker passages, quicker scales, even working things like vocal riffs. A great thing to do is break down riffs of your favorite singers. And there's software where you can slow it down. Audacity will do that. It's a free program. You can look that up and download it. And you just slow those down and just work them note by note, and then start speeding it up and getting them up to tempo, and just start working on agility. Dynamics, starting softer, crescendoing to louder, back to soft again, working on material. And there's different reasons to work material. Sometimes it's because you have to sing it, whether it's an audition or it's a gig. Sometimes it's because you want to sing it. It's just fun. And I encourage you to sing songs that are fun, that maybe don't necessarily work your voice. And other times it's a song that you're not going to perform, and maybe you don't even necessarily enjoy the song to sit and listen to, but boy, does it work your voice in a really precise way. And those are great songs to do so as well. Usually ballads that are sitting in that vocal break area can be fantastic. Some of those contemporary musical theater ballads are really good for working the voice. The reason being is they like to climax in that vocal break area, in that transition. Lots of nice long sustains, usually a bit longer than what we get in pop these days. And it's just a wonderful way to get that nailed in your voice. Don't just work exercises. Exercises are isolated sounds that do a great job of getting you into the right place. But when you go to a song, you may find that there is a lag, and the balance and coordinations that you are finding in the exercises are not carrying over to the songs. And the reason being is now suddenly you have all types of vowel sounds and consonants and funny melodic skips, as well as emotional energy that starts to come into the song. And you start to get musical with it, and that can definitely knock you out of what you found on the exercises. The exercises absolutely have their place. And I wouldn't just work material either. You need to work both. But don't think just doing exercises is ultimately going to get you where you want to be. People want to hear you sing songs, not mum, mum, mum. So material is very, very important. And then end it with a cool down. And a cool down can just be your warm up again. I kind of do my warm-up in reverse. I usually start my warm-up with a lip bubble, and then maybe I'll go to some hooty, heady sounds like an ooh or a gee, 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 just to get the voice going, and then maybe some slightly more open sounds. I just take that in reverse, going from maybe a no sound to then a hooty, ooh or e, and then to lip bubbles. And you just don't want those muscles after you've done a lot of singing to just sit there. You want to cool that down and stretch them because the idea is we don't want them tightening up on us after we've done a lot of singing. Now, that takes care of the practice room. But there are a couple of other elements that you need to introduce to really kick in this rapid improvement. And for some of you, this is stepping outside of a comfort zone. You need to perform. And the first time you perform singing can be a little intimidating, a little scary. So you can find some low stress situations. Maybe get together with a musician friend for some rehearsals, a guitarist you know that would have fun accompanying you, maybe doing duets, so that you're actually working with other musicians. You can go to karaoke nights or open mic nights to step your way in. Karaoke can be a really good icebreaker because you'll be around sometimes some very good singers and very often some rather poor singers who are just having a good time. But so the expectations are low, and it gets you in front of an audience, gets you on a mic, and even if you don't do spectacularly well, even if you fail spectacularly, which I did when I first started performing singing, there really are no repercussions for that. People are just there having a good time. What's going to happen is when you perform and the stress of performance, it's going to be trial by fire of these skills that you have been accumulating. And it is really going to make your nervous system start to cement these in. And it's also going to make you sing under a certain amount of stress. And elite singers sing under stress all the time. And there will be a period where you will not be as good in performance as you are in rehearsal. That's quite often a lot of the time. But as you get used to those stresses and as you see that your nervousness is basically the same energy as excitement, and that you don't find yourself in this cycle of trying to make the nervousness go away, which also makes you more nervous, but you can embrace what it is that you're feeling and feel it as excitement and feel it as your nervous system getting ready to go out and communicate with other humans. And you can go out there and utilize that energy, and it can give your voice a freedom and intensity and an emotional connection that you're just never going to feel in the practice room. My best singing has never been in the practice room. It's always been in performance. But I'm usually more consistent in the practice room. Performance can have its stresses. And to do it at a high level, you need to be doing it a lot. But I want to encourage you to get out there and start doing it. The other thing is record yourself, and not record yourself on your voice memo on your phone, but actually get a song. If you can have a friend lay down a track to accompany you, even better. But even if you just use a karaoke track, record yourself. If you know how to use GarageBand, do that. Even better, go to somebody who has a studio and spend a little money and get in a studio and experience what it's like to be under that microscope. It's a very intense feeling to be standing in the vocal booth and everyone else is behind glass and they say, okay, go. And it's just silence on your end. And you're just staring at this microphone that's going to pick up everything you do. And when you get the music in your headphones and you sing your performance, then to go back in and just take it note by note and start constructing a track that is good, that you can be proud of. And at first, it can be a little painful because you won't have that precision. You need to learn to be studio precise. And that's different from performance. Performance is about that emotional connection in the audience and being in the moment. In the studio, you're still connecting, but there is a level of, I'm not going to say perfection, but certainly this dissecting of note by note, because this one performance will live on. It will be listened to many times over. Your performance on the stage is just once, unless, of course, someone's recorded it. But your intention is this is just for the moment. But in the studio, this is now a performance that's going to have to stand the test of time. And I've been in the studio, and there's been little things in my performance where I've thought like, I don't know if I'm happy with that. And everyone else says, no, it sounds fine. And then that note's always bugged me. So don't be afraid to get in there and really be microscopic with it. It's a great learning experience. It will really help you understand your voice and where you want to work, even if it's a little painful. I wouldn't do more than 1 or 2 songs the first time. It's going to be a little overwhelming. Just take that one song and really learn from the experience, and it's going to give you a whole lot that you're going to want to work on. I can promise you that. And finally, don't get discouraged. You will get better. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. But the thing is being consistent. If you feel a little discouraged, just begin again. Even in the practice session, sometimes I'll just stop. I'll take a deep breath and I'll say, all right, let's begin again. And I'll imagine this is the very first moment of my practice session, to re-energize it, to let go of the maybe bad energy I started to build up because I was frustrated with something. You just need to stay at it and stay focused. And I'm telling you, 25 minutes a day, you're really going to see a difference. And if you can build that up to 2 Pomodoros, or 2 of those 25-minute uninterrupted segments per day, 6 days a week, look out. You're going to improve immensely. And then you combine that with performance and recording and getting out of your comfort zone, you'll be surprised 6 months from now, 12 months from now. And then if you can start singing with real musicians and good musicians, oh my world, you're going to really advance as a musician yourself and learning to hear outside of yourself and listening to what the other musicians are doing, and you're all reacting to each other and creating this unified event together. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. You can't replace great musicians. So, hey, if you want to know more about me and what I do, go to johnhenny.com. If you're interested in any of my courses, you can just click on the menu at the top where it says courses. I have a free straw warm-up course that you can get. Just click on the courses, you'll see it there, and that will give you the ins and outs of why warming up and phonating through a straw works and some of my favorite warm-ups and exercises. It really is the rage. And until next time, to better singing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.